Ghouls are the weakest species in the monster forest, surviving each day by eating carrion. When they encounter stronger monsters, they are often beaten. However, one day, the weak ghouls suddenly became powerful and began to hunt other species, becoming the top predator in the food chain. Surprisingly, the reason behind this change was a human. Hansol, a promising young weightlifter from Korea, tried to lift a 10-ton weight for the audience, which resulted in him being transported to another world. When he opened his eyes, he saw a flock of silly-looking chickens. He thought he had eaten too much chicken and was still haunted by chickens even after dying and going to hell. The small chickens that wanted to eat Hansol were beaten by him until their eyes popped out. At this point, Hansol suddenly discovered that he could see the information and status of the chickens as if he were in a game. Unexpectedly, these silly-looking creatures had a high protein content. In his hunger, Hansol ate all the chickens. After eating, Hansol realized that he had reincarnated into the body of a skinny young man. All his years of training and protein intake to get a six-pack body were wasted. Fortunately, Hansol still retained his strength. He pulled out a large tree with his bare hands and placed it on his shoulder to train and regain his physique. 3 months later, Hansol's body was more muscular, but it was nothing compared to his previous life. Looking at the plump and muscular chickens, he decided to consume more protein. Suddenly, something appeared behind Hansol. When he turned around to see what it was, he was shocked to see a giant chicken. Because Hansol had eaten all its children, it came to take revenge. Knowing that he was no match for this creature, he immediately ran away, as a single blow from it would crush his body. While running away, Hansol couldn't help but envy the chicken for its bulging chest muscles like a weightlifter. A man and a chicken chased each other in the forest. While Hansol was running away, 2 chickens suddenly emerged from the bushes. They even laughed at him for daring to eat them and now getting his comeuppance. Hansol was furious but couldn't do anything about it because behind him was a crazy chicken wanting to eat him. While running away, Hansol suddenly activated the skill of Eagle Eyes. From then on, he discovered that the name of the giant chicken was cockatrice and it weighed 1.2 tons. If you eat the breast of cockatrice, you will unlock the rare skill of muscle recovery. Seeing this, Hansol decided not to run anymore and stay to fight it. Most people think that the way to develop muscles is to exercise, but that's not entirely true. In fact, muscles get damaged. At that time, the strength and ability of the muscles decrease. When we absorb enough nutrients and rest properly, the damaged muscle fibers will start to grow faster than normal. This process is called muscle recovery. Hansol thought that if he could defeat this chicken, his old muscles would return. During the fight, Hansol accidentally activated a giant hand skill like Luffy. With just one punch, the head of the giant chicken exploded, and he successfully killed it, absorbing protein to build muscle. Warning: muscle endurance has been worn out, muscle contraction has been activated for recovery. That night, Hansol had a delicious grilled chicken dinner, which would have been even better with some seasoning. However, Hansol didn't know that in the nearby forest, greedy eyes were staring at him shyly and drooling. In fact, those people were just 3 residents here, who reacted like that because they hadn't smelled meat for a long time. They recognized Hansol as the one who defeated the giant chicken cockatrice, the terror of the forest. At first, the 3 people didn't dare to approach Hansol because they thought he was dangerous. But they were so hungry that the 3 young men later sat down and looked at him with shining eyes. When Hansol asked who they were, they said they were ghouls from the Alimai region. He immediately activated the Eagle Eye skill to examine their information, and indeed they were not lying. Hansol was quite curious as this was the first time he had encountered a creature like a ghoul. A ghoul revealed that they were looking for the person who defeated cockatrice and asked Hansol if he had any information. He also admitted that he was the one who killed it and apologized for thinking this chicken had an owner. The 3 young ghouls were delighted to hear this. They then began to explain that since the most powerful monster had died, a territorial war between species had broken out in Alimai. Cockatrice is not very intelligent, but it is extremely combative when its territory is invaded. Their purpose is to ask Hansol to help the ghoul tribe. However, he refused because he was still busy training to regain his old physique. The 3 young ghouls were extremely disappointed and had to say goodbye to Hansol to return to the village. Hansol saw the 3 Westerners not leaving, so he told them to take some chicken meat to eat. Anyway, he couldn't eat it all by himself. The ghoul group thanked Hansol for his generosity. They were very happy because they hadn't eaten meat for a long time. At this point, one of the three people was about to bend down to pick up a piece of meat. Hansol was very uncomfortable, so he stopped him. Then he began to explain to the other party that lifting heavy objects in the wrong posture would cause extremely dangerous back injuries. However, the ghouls were still confused and didn't understand what the main character was saying. Don't any of you here know what a deadlift exercise is? What is that? It's the first time we've heard of it. No wonder your arms and legs are as thin as sticks. Hansol remembered his elementary school physical education teacher once taught a few things. Hansol, only when you can teach someone else can you truly master it. If there is a time when your muscles stop growing, try teaching someone else, it will help you. Hansol felt that what the teacher said made sense, so he decided to help the three young ghouls transport meat back to their village. Inside the ghoul tribe's village, Hansol was personally received by the Ghoul King. The Ghoul King thanked Hansol for providing food for the villagers. However, during the conversation, he only paid attention to the strange structure of his body. His limbs were skinny, while his belly was full of fat. This is a manifestation of obesity due to lack of exercise. Ignoring the pleasantries, Hansol told the Ghoul King to get straight to the point, asking him why he was called here. The Ghoul King revealed that they were in trouble because of the death of the giant chicken cockatrice. The Ghoul tribe is the weakest force in Alimai. They have neither power nor skills, so they have to eat carrion to survive. When Hansol said he knew nothing about this, the Ghoul King was very angry. He immediately ordered his subordinates to arrest the three ghouls who had led Hansol to the village. Very quickly, the three were blinded and brought before the Ghoul King. He asked them if they still didn't know their crime, then ordered his subordinates to bring that thing out. It should be known that loyalty to the strong is a law of the jungle that has existed for a long time. So he wanted to woo the one who defeated Cockatrice and make him loyal to him. But you dared to deceive, so pay with your lives, the skill of double strength mace. Just as the Ghoul King wanted to punish the three, Hansol blocked his mace with his bare hands. Wasting other people's time and bullying the weak, is this the culture of this village? I have activated my skill, maybe I haven't used my strength correctly. If not, how could a weak human withstand my attack? The Ghoul King thought Hansol was just lucky, so he told him he would show his real skill. My skill is heavy mace, which can increase the weight of the weapon from 2 to 10 times. With the current mana of the Ghoul King, he can increase the weight of the mace by 4 times. The mace weighs 32 caddies multiplied by 4 is nearly 130 caddies plus the swing force of the Ghoul King. The destructive power is even more terrifying. But Hansol just used his hand to block it and the mace self-destructed in his terrified eyes. Then Hansol easily controlled the Ghoul King with just 2 fingers. Being held at his weak point, he was so scared that he dared not move. While showing off, Hansol also didn't forget to say that thanks to the bodybuilding exercises, he was so strong. But everyone had never heard of those exercises. So Hansol challenged the Ghoul King to a deadlift duel to explain to the ghouls what a gymmer is. If Hansol loses, he will have to be a subordinate of the Ghoul King. Hansol reminded him not to forget to keep the correct posture or he will suffer a back injury. At this moment, the Ghoul King suddenly smiled sinisterly. It turns out he has another skill called Heavy Plank that can reduce the weight of objects. Once this skill is activated, the weight of the barbell is only a quarter, so the Ghoul King successfully lifted a 200 caddy weight, but in fact, it only weighed 50 kilograms. When it was Hansol's turn, he told everyone below to observe his movements and posture carefully. Before lifting weights, Hansol had to warm up to heat up his body. The muscles were stretched so they wouldn't cramp when exercising. Deadlift or lift from the god is a full-body exercise, in which the lower body is used the most. The first movement is to stand straight, legs spread shoulder-width apart. The second is to arch your chest to the maximum and keep a straight posture by putting weight on your back. Next, take the center of gravity from the middle of the foot, slowly lift the weight up through the lower body and through the whole body, finally lifting the weight to knee level. At this moment, the Ghoul King secretly played a trick, making the 200 caddy weight of Hansol's barbell multiply many times. No matter what tricks he used, Hansol was not afraid. Not only did he lift the weight, but he also threw it into the air, causing the villagers to panic. Seeing this, the villagers, including the Ghoul King, immediately knelt down and begged him to become their leader. From then on, Hansol officially became the leader of the Ghoul village. From the Ghoul King, Hansol learned a few things. This place is a completely different world from Earth. But there are also legends about people who have traveled here and can return to their original world. This world is called Lysa, with a strong belief and concept of the big fish eating the small fish in the literal sense. The name of the Ghoul King is Gulon, so from now on he will be called that. Gulon led Hansol to the training ground for the Ghoul tribe's warriors. Calling it a training ground is just a fancy way of saying it, but in reality, this place is a barren land with nothing. Hansol ordered everyone in the village to quickly gather at the training ground. They didn't understand what the new leader wanted to do, but they still obeyed and lined up neatly. Hansol believed that ghouls are creatures that only know how to live on the leftovers of other species. But that will no longer happen if they have a strong body. In the next 3 months, he will train everyone to become real warriors. If they can complete the training, they will no longer be despised by other species. The first exercise in Hansol's 3-month training course is push-ups. This exercise is simple, but it's not easy to get the right posture. It will help strengthen the chest and arm muscles. The task of the ghouls is to learn how to do push-ups today. 3 hours later, they were all exhausted after doing about 700 push-ups in the midday sun, while Hansol had done over 20,000 push-ups with a rock on his back. He even felt it wasn't enough for him and asked Gulon to make a heavier rock. The ghoul villagers watching were sweating, wondering what the leader ate to be so strong. At this point, everyone in the village was exhausted. Some even said it would be better to have Gulon as the leader as before, because training like this is unbearable. Hansol was very angry when he heard their discussions. It's because of your defeatist spirit that you're called the weakest. Are you really resigned to being called the weakest? This is a wilderness where only the strong can survive. Are you planning to live as a coward who only knows how to run away when your friends, relatives, and family are slaughtered? If you're just that kind of trash, get out. I refuse to train you. But those who dare to stay here and continue to do push-ups, I will grant you the strength to protect what's important. After being enlightened by Hansol, the ghouls understood the importance of training. Everyone decided to stay and continue training. No one left. No matter how tired they were, they still completed the first training session. The training ground sweats so the battlefield sheds less blood. Hansol inspired everyone to become stronger. What makes a good coach is not the one who knows the most about muscles, nor the one who reaches the limit of the body. The best coach is the one who can revive the determination and fighting spirit of others. At that moment, Hansol's Eagle Eye skill was also upgraded to level 2. Time passed quickly and 3 months had passed. On the dirt road leading to the ghoul village, a group of strangers appeared. They were the lizard people. Today the lizard people decided to invade the ghoul village to turn it into a colony. But they didn't know their movements had been detected by Hansol. He immediately ordered the ghoul warriors to prepare for battle. This was their first battle after 3 months of training. At this moment, the lizard people stepped into the mountain pass. Suddenly, countless rocks fell from above. They couldn't react in time. Very quickly a few people in the group were hit by rocks and injured, unable to stand up. Now they realized they had fallen into the ghouls' ambush. The young men in the village were no longer the weakest, everyone was muscular. The lizard leader had to quickly think of a strategy to deal with it, otherwise, failure would only be a matter of time. The leader sensed Gulon's mana and assumed he was the head of the ghouls. So he decided to challenge Gulon to a one-on-one duel to turn the tide. The ghoul over there, come out, don't be cowardly hiding behind your subordinates. Come down here and fight me one-on-one. Mr. Hansol, how will you respond to his provocation? Hansol couldn't help but remember that he once raised a crocodile that couldn't bite very hard, up to 2 tons, but that crocodile still couldn't bite his well-trained muscles. The crocodile broke all its teeth after biting. You've been my pet for quite a while. From there, he remembered how to deal with reptiles. Hansol immediately jumped down and pinned the leader to the ground. First, we need to flip these lizards over so they lie on their backs. Next is to stare into its eyes when the animal is small. We have to show them that we are stronger than them. After a few confrontations with Hansol's scary eyes, the opponent quickly surrendered, not knowing if this human would bite him or not. The result of the battle with the lizard people was a resounding victory for the ghoul side. Not far from Alimai is the small nation of Wyroth. It's an honor that such a small country has such outstanding talents like all of you. I assign you the task of investigating the disappearance of Cockatrice. We obey your orders, Count. Is it okay for the general to give such an important task to these young warriors? Haha, don't worry too much, Count Wyroth. Although they are still very young, they are all rare geniuses. Leaper uses flashy swordsmanship to play with his opponents. He is a master of swordsmanship. Henda uses a heavy old sword. It has the power to blow away any weapon of the opponent. If the two of them fight together, nothing but a dragon can defeat them. So I guess the seemingly simple warrior behind is also an outstanding character, right? That guy is a bit hard to say. I don't know about his abilities. Leaper and Henda suggested that he go along because the three of them have been friends since childhood, and also because the two geniuses like him. Then the three of them went into the forest to investigate the mysterious disappearance of Miss Cockatrice. On a nearby tree, there was a goblin preparing to shoot them with a bow, but Leaper was faster. He stabbed it with a sword. At this point, the other two were surrounded by goblins. Henda was not afraid and immediately swung his heavy sword, because it is a heavy weapon with great destructive power, so wherever it goes, there are a bunch of goblins killed. The remaining young man, who hadn't done anything yet, had his two close friends finish off the goblins. He felt quite jealous of his two friends, because all three of them were taught by the same master, but only he was still weak. Perhaps this is the difference between a genius and an ordinary person. At this time in the ghoul village, the group of lizard people were learning Hanseo's accelerated muscle building training course. "Thank you for everything you have done for us. You're welcome. If you want to continue training, just come over here." The ghoul village also told the lizard people group to work hard to grow as fast as they did. Finally, the lizard people left with the question of how the originally weak ghouls could be so strong. A strong body. At first glance, I was also very surprised. When training, muscles will hurt and grow by recovering. However, if fatigue accumulates in the central nervous system, the ability to train will decrease or can cause injury. To prevent this from happening, rest to reduce fatigue after training is called recharging. When the ghouls reached the 9th week of training, they also felt tired, so Hansol gave the whole village a day off from training. Unexpectedly, the next morning, the bodies of the ghouls had developed significantly. Not only the muscles but also their height had increased. Using his eagle eye skill, Hansol evaluated the ghouls and found that the fat content in their bodies was very low, only 8%. Even he didn't expect the ghouls to progress so quickly here because there were no support tools and no whey protein to drink. The lizard people had left. Hansol told the whole village to prepare dinner quickly. A young man asked him if they could go hunting by themselves today. It's not that they want to skip training, but they've never had the opportunity to confront prey directly because Hansol is always the one who hunts. Gulan was curious if a strong ghoul could beat Hansol. He declared straight out that you guys are just kids when it comes to weightlifting. Hansol can take on the whole village. Then everyone started carrying their luggage and went hunting. Even when they went, the ghouls also had to train their leg muscles according to Hansol's orders. At this point, a ghoul suddenly turned around while doing the exercise and injured his ankle. Seeing this, Hansol immediately told everyone to stop to check the wound for him. That evening, Block was practicing sword alone in the forest. He wanted to become stronger so he wouldn't have to hide behind his two friends when something happened like this morning. So while everyone was sleeping, he was diligently practicing. Leaper suddenly came over and reminded Block to put more force into his thumb, then the sword path would be faster and stronger. It turns out the sound of his practice woke up his two friends. Henda reminded him that it was late at night. If he didn't go to sleep, his body would be tired tomorrow because he didn't get enough sleep. At this point, a group of lizard people suddenly emerged from the forest and were moving towards them. But the target of the lizard people group was not them, but it seemed like they were running away from something extremely scary behind. Following that, there was a flock of stupid chickens that also seemed to be afraid of something. It turns out they were being chased by Hansol and the ghouls to replenish protein. From then on, a new ecosystem appeared in the forest with him as the top of the food chain. Back in the afternoon, they were hiding behind the leaves to observe the prey. Those were fat chickens with delicious meat and nutritious oil, eating and gaining muscle extremely quickly. But the ghouls were still a bit scared to confront the flock of stupid chickens. At this point, a stupid chicken was hunting but got stuck between two tree trunks. Unexpectedly, the stupid chicken suddenly crowed loudly and its body immediately swelled up. Just in the blink of an eye, the two trees were easily knocked down by it. It's true that once hungry, even a chicken becomes dangerous. No wonder the ghouls were afraid and dared not hunt them. Witnessing the power of the stupid chicken, the young ghoul went to find two other trees to test his strength. He didn't believe that after months of training, he was not stronger than a chicken. But no matter how hard he tried, the two trees didn't budge at all. "I'll wait a minute and try again. I'll give you a full 3-minute break. You don't need to strain yourself, pay attention to moving your heels." With Hanseo's reminder, he performed the correct movement. But it seems that the tree is planted too deep, so he still doesn't have enough strength to push it. At this point, Hansol suddenly paid attention to the flock of chickens. While observing them, he realized the difference between the stupid chickens and the ghouls. "They have improved their muscles too steadily, so I didn't realize this. Mr. Hansol, What's the matter? I'm sorry, you guys can't do as well as them because of me. Is our posture wrong? Not like that, just because your muscles are used to my schedule. Starting from now, the ghouls will have to change their training schedule. Hansol told everyone to gather and then started introducing new equipment and exercises. The thing behind me is a cross cable. It is specially made to change your fixed schedule. From now on, you guys will use them to train the inner chest muscles. If you guys do this exercise, you will be able to easily defeat the chickens. That's our leader, he always knows the answer. Cross cable, this exercise is used to stimulate the development of reverse muscles. It will lift the muscles of the practitioner to a new height. This exercise will only be effective if performed correctly. It is one of the difficult level exercises for beginners. First, slightly bend the upper body and bend the knees. Second, stand with your arms outstretched. Keep your body in the middle position throughout the exercise. Limit movement. Third, place the body in the middle of the exercise equipment. Pull the cable with a suitable force like a bird trying to flap its wings and then cross them. Fourth, different hand directions will stimulate different muscle groups on the chest. Make sure not to shake but keep your pulling hand steady. Do not take advantage of the pulling force of the cable. Being taught a new exercise by the leader, the ghouls were very excited and immediately performed it. When facing a flock of foolish chickens, everyone's chest muscles had developed significantly. Unexpectedly, the chickens, seeing this, also began to level up, their size becoming much larger than before. The ghouls, unafraid, continued to charge forward, their belief in the new exercise giving them added strength. Both sides decided to start fighting right in the forest. Hansol, on the outside, used his eagle eye skill to observe the situation, discovering that the foolish chickens had evolved into cocats. With a protein composition of 132 pounds and a fat ratio of 12%, the ghouls were no match for them. If they didn't want the chickens to evolve, they had to ensure that the chicken breast did not develop any further. At this time, there was still one person inside the ghoul village. It was Gulan, who was assigned to stay in guard. Guarding a house against nothing seemed boring, but Gulan didn't think so. He even felt very happy and free. Hansol is indeed a good person, but our tastes are completely different. That's why I prepared this. Today's menu is crispy fried chicken skin. The ingredients include clean chicken, flour, chili powder, oil, and salt. The first step is to use a knife to cut the clean chicken into equal pieces. If you fry it right away, it will smell, so before cooking, you need to use spices to remove the smell. Next, add chili powder to the flour and mix well to create a magical mixture. Finally, sprinkle that mixture on the chicken and then fry it in a boiling oil pan. And so, Gulan's crispy golden fried chicken skin dish was completed. Returning to the battle in the forest, the ghouls were completely overwhelmed by the chickens. They had trained their inner chest muscles exactly as Hansol taught, but still couldn't beat the chickens. Hansol simply explained that everyone had only been training for a few months, while from a young age, the foolish chickens had developed their chest muscles to hunt. Having such wonderful chest muscles is not an easy thing. But that doesn't mean you guys have no way to win. You guys have to remember how you got here. You have to train the basics first before you can exert force. The root of muscle strength is from the basics. Finally, you guys have realized it. Maybe you guys only used chest muscles so you lost, but if you combine it with your legs, what will happen? Let me see your effort and fighting spirit. The ghouls, after being enlightened, were very aggressive and immediately rushed to the flock of chickens, but the result was still that they were knocked away by the foolish chickens. It turns out that carrying heavy objects and walking all the way here had exhausted their leg muscles. Now Hansol realized this, it was too late. After winning, the chickens began to look down on everyone with half an eye in mockery. It was time for Hansol to show them who was the top creature in the food chain in this forest. The chickens, seeing that there were still people daring to provoke them, angrily rushed towards him. Facing this situation, Hansol remained extremely calm. He simply extended a hand forward. The foolish chickens were rushing up when suddenly in their eyes appeared slow-motion scenes. From when they were just small eggs just hatched, a little bigger than their parents taught them how to hunt, when mature always had to compete with their own kind. That process helped their chest muscles develop extremely strong. But today, their opponent was Hansol. The end result was that all of them were put into the pot without exception. Eat a lot of protein. Tomorrow you guys will have to try to catch one yourself. Yes, leader. Those who hold old legs in their hands will have to do 300 push-ups. The next day, according to Hansol's order, the ghouls will go hunting. He warned them to be careful as injuries would prevent them from training. Hansol would not go with them because he was still busy training his chest. Without a leader to command the battle, the ghouls had to devise their own action plan. According to calculations, Hansol alone caught 27 foolish chickens yesterday. So today, their goal is to catch at least 50. They decided to divide the team into 3 groups. If any group encountered danger, they would signal the other 2 groups to assist. Thus, the second hunt of the ghoul village officially began. At this time, 3 human youths had found the skeleton of a cockatrice that Hansol had eaten. They didn't see its skull anywhere. It seemed to have been destroyed by high-level magic. A person who can kill a cockatrice with one blow must be as strong as a great wizard. Can we really accept this task? Don't worry, Block, although you are the weakest in the group, we will not let you get hurt. The 3 were talking to each other when they suddenly felt the ground shaking. It turned out to be a team of ghouls hunting chickens nearby. The ghouls quickly detected the 3 human youths, and they were also very surprised when they first saw a group of strange muscular monsters. Stop, humans are a vicious and murderous species. We don't know how they will behave. A risky decision could endanger everyone. What are the ghouls doing? Is it a way to show off before using tricks? Go call Team 1 and Team 2, we have to gain an advantage in numbers. The ghouls had figured out how to use their chest muscles to signal their kind. Unexpectedly, this action provoked the chickens and inadvertently helped them level up. The foolish chicken had evolved into a monster coquette. Its face also looked less foolish. In a fit of rage, they immediately rushed towards the ghouls. Team 3 thought they were done for, but in the crisis, the captains of Teams 1 and 2 quickly arrived. The reinforcements had arrived. The ghouls were no longer afraid of the coquettes. They can now use the secret trick they learned from Hansol. To kick in the correct posture, you did well. When you can't get the right posture, you need someone to support. But what should we do if we want to truly feel our own strength safely? The answer is Hansol's secret bodybuilding trick. For ghouls team up to form a group. From there, the attack of the person in front will carry the momentum of the 3 people behind. Based on the combat formation, the 4 ghouls successfully defeated the chickens. There was 1 ghoul left in the group about to be singled out by a coquette. The 3 human youths decided to help him because they were moved by the ghouls' united fighting style. Just as the 2 sides had just joined forces to defeat the chickens, a new threat appeared. It was a giant sand coquette, its eyes looking at everyone filled with rage. This coquette made them think of a species called Long Knot. That species is famous for being cruel and brutal. It was afraid that in the future other dragons could surpass it. So it carried out some extreme measures, which is to disperse its power. And this is also how cockatrice, a species closely related to dragons, was born. This chicken is not a dragon, but for everyone, it is still a very dangerous creature. At this time, Hansol was still busy training his chest and did not know about the events in the forest. Although his muscles developed quite slowly compared to his previous life, he still had plenty of time to adapt to the new world. 3 months have passed. Initially they were as thin as zombies. I had to teach them step by step as if teaching a newborn baby to walk. They almost gave up, but that was just a fleeting thought. In the end, they tried with all their strength and none of them quit. That's why their bodies have developed more and more and now they seem to be okay. Leader, we are in trouble. The chickens have grown too fast and now everyone is in danger. If the situation continues like this, everyone will die. Shut up and quickly show me the way. Warning, energy exceeding the endurance of the muscles will be dangerous. Do you want to cancel this skill? How dare you guys touch my kids? Confirmed to continue the skill, only saw Hansol step down to take off, causing the ground around to crack, then he jumped up and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Over here, Leaper and Henda are fighting with a chicken. One person attracts attention to distract while one person aims at its weak point. Although the attack strategy is very reasonable and the chicken also got hit a few times in the weak spot. But it is stronger than the 2 of them thought too much. Very quickly Leaper was hit by its wings and flew into the sky. Tan Yan, although seriously injured, still signaled that he was alive to reassure his teammates. Seeing that, Team Ghoul had to use a secret combat form. The final technique of a bodybuilder is to stack towers. But the chicken attacked so fiercely that soon the combined formation of everyone was broken by it. When the ghouls were about to be in danger, something came down to destroy the chicken. The dust quickly dispersed. The person who just appeared was Gulan, and Hansol because he jumped too strong so he landed in the wrong place. At this time, a flock of giant chickens had come to surround Gulan. He was not afraid but mocked the chickens. You guys can only do that. That ghoul seems to be the Demon King. That long-range attack is quite impressive. What are you guys looking at? Do you guys think I came here without preparing anything? Mr. Demon King, have you already planned? I have attracted their attention, take the opportunity to wipe them out. Mr. Hansol, please appear. Leader, why don't you appear? Where are you, leader? Ghoul King bragging in front of the chickens, this is hopeless. Unlike ordinary ghouls, Gulan does not participate in bodybuilding workouts. But his position has not changed. So why can he maintain such a position even though the other ghouls in the village have become much stronger? That's because Gulan was given a very important task by Hansol, which is to control everyone's weight level. Gulan has no choice but to continue to perform the weight increase skill. Gulan's heavy blank skill has reached the maximum level and is getting stronger while he is not paying attention. Previously, Gulan was able to defeat the giant chicken with just a rock. However, now they have called for more reinforcements, so he is a bit scared. Seeing this, the ghouls began to cheer for Gulan. If he could defeat the chicken with a single blow, then he would be as strong as Hansol. No one can defeat this giant creature with just one blow. Perhaps I am a genius, because since birth I have been different from ordinary ghouls. Come on, you chickens, this mighty Ghoul King will defeat all of you. But as soon as he finished speaking, Gulan was hit by the chicken and flew away. We are really doomed. Henda, Leaper, I'm sorry for always not understanding your jokes. The last moment of life still has friends by my side, at least I won't be lonely. We will also try to the last muscle fiber. Thank you, leader, for teaching us. Training is hard, but we have been able to feel the joy of becoming stronger. If there is a next life, please teach us again. Elsewhere, Hansol had found the location where Gulan fell. The ghouls are in danger, leader, please save them. Activate the comm skill. Detecting an overwhelming emotion, comm skill. The comm skill has been cancelled. What's going on? Suddenly, where are the chickens running to? So, the chickens sensed the threat from Hansol and they ran to surround him. You guys can stop now, I'm as calm as I can be.